welcome everyone to Across the Pond, the podcast that dares to uncover the mysteries lurking beyond the veil of reality. From government cover-ups and secret experiments to hauntings, cryptids, and UFO encounters, we explore the unexplained and the conspiracies that keep them hidden. And today we have a very special, very amazing guest here with us.
Thank you for that, Stein. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you are very welcome.
Oh, you're not talking about me. Sorry, mate. Go on, carry on.
Oh, it's going downhill already. Anyway, we have a very special guest here with us, Mr. Nick Kitchen, and and we, of course, the hat honcho is here, the bald one, as
the bald one, as he calls himself,
as his tagline says. So yeah, Nick, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for joining Across the Ponds podcast. And for those who may not be familiar with your work, or what you do just yet, introduce yourself, man.
Well, thanks, guys. Really good to see you both again, and thank you for having me on Across the Pond. Certainly, it's an absolute pleasure. So myself, so I don't know, maybe you could tell by my accent, I'm from Lincolnshire, and I've been a member of a community organisation for the past, more than 3 years now. But, in this, what would we call it? The conspiracy space, the freedom movement. What? I don't know. This is probably an awakening, isn't it? Over this last few years, where certain things have gone on, and people have seemingly, sort of come together and spotted all kinds of things that are not quite right. And, it's good to see that people have come out the woodwork and been able to see that there needs to be sort of change happening. In the last few years, I think people have realised that, what we've been witnessing and experiencing is certainly not good, really, not good for humanity. And spiritually, we need to wake up. And I think also on the physical side of things, we need to kick up the arse, to be honest, to really define what we want out of all of this. Because I don't think really those kind of questions have probably been asked, certainly. So I've gone off pat already. That's not really an introduction.
That's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's what we want, is the background for it. This society that you call it, Nick, when did it start? Who started it? And how has it rolled from there?
Right. Okay. So the organisation is called the Community Assembly of the British Isles, and it was officially started in 2019. So this was before a certain period or a certain word became prevalent. To say, previous to that, there was things that were put together, but officially in 2019, the community assemblies came together, and it's a framework for community that is like a framework for a parallel society, one that sits alongside the system, but not part of, as we feel that this system that is going on now is not really beneficial to to us really anymore. Certainly in this country, or in the British Isles, I should say, and across the world. We're seeing this worldwide. So having a framework there for people to come together, to establish their identity, their customs, their traditions, to build their communities in their local areas with alternative health and law enforcement, security, food security, education, and just to establish a better way, one that suits us much better, while gaining our jurisdiction and independence and self-governance, which is important. And having this physical framework that we can work to, we're achieving things in action, but you've always got this interconnectivity with what's going on spiritually as well. As we grow, we do tasks and make good. We're also it's interconnected with our spiritual sense as well, and there is a sense that's, I suppose, or let's say sense, been said, I think, quite many times about this is like a spiritual battle, a spiritual war, and I think it certainly is. But for ourselves, really, trying to figure out who we are, this where we come from, our sovereignty, how we were born, and our understanding, or understanding, as some people would say, of ourselves, and this growth, spiritually and collectively as humans for something better. And this is what we aim to strive for within the community assemblies, while having certain structures in place so we can live just better and more happier, because then obviously it feeds that spirit, and it helps us grow, with the knowledge and the teaching that is inherent in that as well, is just some great elements that have sort of been put together in this framework for people to come and join and to just help themselves grow and be part of. And
how does it actually work though, Nick? Is it obviously you say you're a network, are you all in the same place? Do you all live together in a community, or are you all, like we're talking now, do you have meetings like this? Are you all over the country? Is it that kind of situation?
We're all over the country, but we're also worldwide as well. So the community assemblies, the framework allows for interconnected communities in your local area. So my role is a facilitator for Lincolnshire. So we have now 10 assemblies in Lincolnshire. So that's towns, villages, and the county of Lincolnshire. So we'll have small groups, but we're all interconnected. So the community assemblies that are in the towns and villages in Lincolnshire are part of the Lincolnshire Community Assembly, and the Lincolnshire Community Assembly sits alongside the other counties and Cornwall as its own country by right. So we're connected under the Community Assembly of the British Isles, but are independent in our local communities, because every community works differently. So you would have, I don't know, certain sets of things maybe in Lincolnshire that maybe Lancashire is not experiencing. So the two would have to be different. So you couldn't necessarily have a hard and fast rule or one thing that you have to stick by and be static. So this is why it is like why the framework is as it is. So it allows the interconnectivity, but the evolution for the communities to evolve as they need to in their own sort of towns and villages and their own counties.
Yeah.
And the same with the worldwide, we call it the Assemblies of the World. So this is different countries that have within them their assemblies in their different areas. Like with America, they have the Community Assembly in New Jersey, and I think there's the Community Assembly of California, obviously the Community Assembly of America, which a country would always carry an emissary. So it's it just is this framework. It sounds sort of like, wow, like I don't know, some kind of world order, but having a framework allows function, but not so it keeps it sort of focused, but it allows evolvement and function, but still keeping it together. So if you had no framework, you'd probably find that things would get quite sort of disjointed. But even with the framework, it's still always down to the members of the Community Assembly on what they decide. So John Gilbert, who is the founder of the Community Assembly, and he's over in Cornwall, has no power whatsoever, because he is governed by what the members want from him. So myself as a facilitator for Lincolnshire, I facilitate to what the members want. It's not what I want, not what Lincolnshire wants as a whole. It's what the towns and the villages and the assemblies they're in and the members would, want to see happen. And we do have a voting system where, we do have a voting system so members can vote on everything. So this is, anything that wants to be sort of put through, it will go to a vote. And of course, if the members vote no, if they abstain, it still counts as a no. So we have to get that 51% to carry a vote through. And we're just looking at going back to when we had this conversation before, haven't we, where we're going back to how the Anglo-Saxons and the time before, where they had assemblies where the village would decide on what they wanted, and the head of the village would facilitate that. That they would probably have a council like the Saxons had a Witan. They would derive from the villagers, the people that had standing in the village, and they were put forward to ask or facilitate the things that the villagers wanted. And
it's sorry to cut you off,
sorry,
Nick.
yeah.
It sounds like what it was. What I spoke to you about when you first started talking about it, I had this idea of the film I told you to watch for your homework. I don't know if you watched it.
I couldn't get it, unfortunately, because I have Netflix and it's on Amazon. So I tried to get an Amazon thing and it kept booting me off because it said I'd already signed up, and I unfortunately not yet.
What it basically is, obviously the film's called The Village, and it was a billionaire in America who bought this massive piece of land, fenced it off, and went back to basics. Everyone who lived there did live there for, I think it was about 100 years, and they were working in this like tribal kind of system. Everyone helped towards the village. The village had elders. The elders were in charge. People would vote on it. What you've described there, it's more of a countrywide thing where you have different pockets of your society. Do you all actually come together at any point and all?
We do come together at meetings. We have 140 plus assemblies. I'm not entirely sure of the actual figure, and we meet where we can. Certainly, we have meetings. Obviously, being spread out, logistically, not everybody could get to certain meetings. What we are or had planned to do is have a large meeting in the middle of the country where it's it's open for everyone in the assemblies, which all meetings are. We have them in Lincolnshire. We're not saying that this is just for Lincolnshire members, and we do get people that travel from different areas, and we're having a Freedom Festival in Norfolk, in Norwich on the 18th, and hopefully we'll see members travelling from different parts of the country. Now, it's not a community assembly set up event, but John is going to be speaking there. He's going to be in his uniform, which is his peace constable role. So he will be speaking in that. Well, I hope he's listening. He's now going to be speaking. No, he knows.
You've got no choice.
Yeah, he's got no choice, John. There needs to be more. There needs to be more events, but generally in the areas where people are, they would, they're obviously responsible for their own meetings. They would, set them up, this is, something that's up to the members to do, of course. So,
how does it work with, obviously, you'll have your own rules, you'll have your own laws, so to say. How does that work with conventional society? Do you still follow their rules as well?
Right. Okay. So we work on natural law. So this is an oath or a declaration that is taken by every community assembly member when they join, to abide by natural law, which is cause no harm, cause no loss, be honourable in thy contracts, and to stand as a living being of flesh and blood. And there is, no conflict within that. So as to the system and the society, we are functioning in this system with probably 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's not ideal. So we have to make do, but then we're also challenging this system with their under natural law, but also under their own legislations. The law is not a problem. It's legislation where, what causes a conflict that, the law is the law. And we are bound, obviously, we commit an unlawful act, whether it's, by natural law or by the system, or what's laid down as law, we still will come under that. That's generally a law is still cause no harm and cause no loss, as is natural law. Legislations are the challenging part on how they're actually trying to push them as law. And legislation is only there by consent. They will tell you it's not, but you can evidence it And I think Asby versus White in 1703 evidence it. The judge said, you have to seek consent of the people, and in 1704 the Lords agreed with this, and I think they went further into say individual consent. You could go to Black's Law, which is I think they cite it as a legislation, statutes and acts are given the force of law, but only by the consent of the people. Yet Parliament seems to think that it has the ability to be sovereign, and for everything they say becomes law. However, they are still governed under the law, and they have been beaten down by the courts. So that means is that obviously they cannot make law if the courts can find against them, because the courts have the authority. But this is courts that are they're using law, but they would also find that legislation is not functionable, or doesn't apply in to what they what they're doing. I can't think of the actual word. There is a word that describes it, but as a parallel society, we're going to encounter challenges, of course, but we also have got to stand by what we say and by what we mean. This comes back down to ourselves, is that we are standing here. This is the declaration that we're saying we're abiding by natural law. We're standing up in our flesh and bones. We have a soul. We was born free under God, or the Creator, and who are you to say that you have an authority over me? Because we're all born equal. And this is sort of the challenge that we're going through. We have to stamp our standing, and this becomes then also spiritual, is that we must know who we are. We must know how we're born, and we don't fight for freedom, because freedom, we are, we're free, we are. We don't need to be writing off to the government and saying, please understand that I am free, because you are really giving away your freedom, because you're writing to somebody that you are trying to get approval from. So it would make sense that you are looking at them as an authority over you, which means that you can't really understand that you are free in the first place. So we have to get to this point of knowing, and this is what we try to teach through the community assemblies, is that we don't need to be drowning in paperwork and documents. We just need to be standing up in our own skin, and professing who we are. And
I think it's drilled into us, isn't it, from day one? As soon as you're born, you're presented with this certificate. Here's your birth certificate, and that's more like a certificate of ownership of the country. We own you.
Yeah,
this is the certificate that says that. Now you follow all our rules. It's that kind of situation. Have you got them in the Netherlands, Stein? I assume you have birth certificates. And things.
No, of course you do. It's it's pretty much the same here. Then by the time you you get your first ID card or get your first passport. No, even that's from birth. Like you get your tax ID, which I mean, in a way, like your tax ID is who you are as a citizen of the country. Like I am not. I'll use my screen name. I am not. I am not Stein Fox. I am number. This and this and that.
Yeah.
And that's like with so many government institutions, you feel like you're, just a number, just a document number, or just, a tax number or whatever. Because you are, That's why, well, at least here in the Netherlands, whenever you call like a government institution or like even healthcare, you're asked to type in that number, like even on the phone. Like otherwise, they have no idea who you are. It's like it's fucking me,
Yeah,
okay?
it's
Like
me.
I'm Stein. I live where I live. Like you know me. I'm registered with you guys. No, but we need your, as the conspiracy crowd likes to call it. I dislike the name very much, but your slave number. I guess like during times of slavery, like you got brandished that number during like World War II. The number was tattooed on you. Um, so like yeah, you're for at least the official government, the ruling governments. Let's say they're not even official; they're just the ruling ones. You are nothing but that number. It's like, but I'm Stein Fox. Yeah, okay, but like, what's your number?
Yeah.
Why? Just look up my name. No, we need that, that tax number. No, you don't. Just look up my name. No, that's not enough.
Yeah,
we know
we're
who
not
you
interested
are,
in
but
your
we need to
name. We just want
validate
your
who you
number.
are, by using the number that, you go by for the government. So yeah,
Is
like
that-
from birth, really, like as soon as you're registered as a citizen, which is also a thing, like you have to register
You have to.
yourself as a citizen. Like, for I'm a father of two, and you got 3 days to like a week maximum.
I was going to say there's a time limit, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just not recognized as a citizen.
Yeah.
And good luck getting a job. Good luck getting a passport. For as far as as far as law really is concerned, you don't exist. Doesn't matter that you're walking around there, flesh and blood, doing this and that. When it comes to law, tax law, really, you don't exist. And because you don't exist, you can't get an ID. Because you don't exist and you don't have a tax number, you can't get a job. You can't do anything. So you need it in this system, at least, that is in place. If you want to live, and like I'm really like stretching the word live, because this is not living, this is merely surviving at this point.
Yeah.
If you want to live or survive in this set system, you're gonna need that tax ID number, which is kind of what I wanted to ask, Nick. Like, how do you, or very bluntly put, how do you keep the government off your back? Like, they don't like people splitting off. They don't like people, going back to what is basically tribal living. We take care of ourselves and our own people. The government has to be involved in everything, even if it's just, money-wise. It's like, hey, you guys are like doing this. We can make money off that. Give us some.
Yeah.
Give us some.
Yeah.
We are classed as private members association, which means is that we can trade between each other, and it's private. We don't need to show it. So, as our communities grow, we can function between ourselves. And this is one layer of coming, out of their system. However, members that are, part of the community assemblies, they still have jobs. They're still, in this system. So this is this one leg out, one leg in situation. But, to this point, this is why we need to grow. We need to get more numbers. We need to get more assemblies to push our way of life and our customs and our traditions and our jurisdictions, which is a very, very important thing. But as a PMA, we can trade between each other quite happily in the private. It's not something that's trackable. As you said, government wants everything. You grow a row of potatoes and you get like, 6 bags of potatoes. The government's going to want 1 or 1.5 of that. It's not in a private members association thing. I'm just, talking theoretically in, more of their sort of corporate and citizen sense, with this this number, the registration, the birth certificate. We have here, and I know this has been said, I think it's 7 years and a few months. If you have not registered, the state cannot touch your children. They wouldn't have jurisdiction over it. Now this was verified. I was having a meal with some friends, and one of the guys is an ex-police officer, ex-armed officer, and he was saying in the conversation that he's knows about this, that basically the social services can't touch unregistered children. So this registration is very, very important to them, like a registered car. If it was your own property and not registered to them, then theoretically, can they take it from you? Because it would be stealing. It says on the V5 that, you are the registered keeper, not the owner. So what's that all about? So you go and buy a car and then you become the keeper of it and not a bloody owner. This whole registry of, the conspiracy theorists, and I would probably class myself amongst them a little bit. But yeah, they would say, well, everything you register, you give away. Regis, Regis, the Crown Corporation. You have a number, attached to everything: driving license, your birth certificate, passport, and generally driving license and passport comes in all caps names as well. So, what other all caps? What other things are written in all caps? And you would find that companies are. So you could say that, all right, we're become companies, we become dead entities, we've given ourselves over. And there's much to be said on how they actually do that, but looking sort of at this registry thing, so deregister, get out the voting system, don't vote, take yourself off, don't give your consent, don't give your energy to it, and unpick yourself from this mess, really, because that's what it is. It's just a I don't know, prison without bars, really, isn't it? It's just society, citizenship, and everything that goes with it is just a way for them to extract money from you, tell you what to do, keep off the grass, don't drive past 30 miles an hour, of course, I think we're referred to as infants and as commoners, when we vote, we become a commoner, and, we're treated as infants, we're getting a slap on the wrist and, for doing things when, and like a fine to hit us in our pocket, okay, well, if you are speeding through a 30-mile-an-hour limit, let's say, and there is no one about, who have you actually hurt? Where's the harm, where is the loss, where is the victim? And if you have broken a rule, then really, is it finable? Or is it just to say, look, just steady up, there might be, children about or something like that you might knock over. Yeah, fair enough. We're not infants, we don't need to be treated the way that we are, but it's all about corporations and money. It's what it
Yeah,
seems to be. And I think Mussolini coined it. I think I think he founded fascism, but I can't remember the exact statement he come out with. It was something about, it's not fascism, it's corporatism, and this is what we're sort of seeing. These corporations that are, really sticking the needle into us. Always extracting money and using thugs to enforce the the extraction, which is, it's not good. We need to be out of this, or we need to, protect ourselves against this. And
it's like you said, the definition of a crime is something that affects somebody else in a negative way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're on your own, and let's just take the speeding thing again, if you're doing 35 in a 30, there's nobody about for miles, and you get flashed by a camera, you technically haven't really committed a crime against anybody else. You've committed it against the state.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what the state does. It doesn't matter what kind of government they say they are, democratic, communist, whatever they say they are, they're all exactly the same. Everybody has to pay. Everyone's going to get rinsed. Whatever you make, we're going to take away from you, and you're never going to really see that again. That's just basically what the new idea of government seems to be.
I mean, traffic law and traffic fines, I can definitely speak on. I have worked for, like local government, local, more localized law enforcement. I'm, gonna do that again, actually, mainly because of, the money and the benefits. Not because I'll be honest. It's a very good job, very good benefits, very good contract, very good pay, and
he's stuck in the state, Nick. Be careful.
He's spying on us.
He is.
I will be technically. Eventually I will be sworn in, so yeah, I'll be working for the state. I'll be working for the local municipality.
Don't worry, I'll sack him by then, Nick.
Hey, you need an insider.
As long as you can give us some inside tips.
No, but the thing is, especially for like government as a whole, doesn't matter if it's local or national. Traffic fines or parking fines, it's not even punishment, it's income. And like that's I remember when I last worked for municipality. I'm not gonna say the name here, but they told us that we're writing too little tickets, but it's not about chasing payments. It's not like actively hunting those who haven't paid for their parking, or actively making looking at or like looking for kids on their bikes with their phone in their hand. It's not about actively doing that, but we are writing too little tickets, so we have too little income for the city. So if you could please just work a little harder. It's like it's all fucking politics as well.
You weren't a traffic warden, were you, Stein?
No,
thank goodness for that. I was thinking that then. I was going to say, no,
definitely not.
Oh no, the viewers were really starting to hate you then for a second.
I'll say I have given out my fair share of tickets, received my fair share of tickets. I like speed. I can't help it. But yeah, like even on a national level, it started out first as kind of punishment. Indeed, like, hey, you've been speeding. Here's a ticket because you've broken not even a law, but like more of a rule. It's not even a law that you're not allowed to speed. It just says, like, this sign here says that you're not allowed to drive over 100 kilometers an hour. Okay, cool. But why? Well, because we decided that is what that sign means.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a rule, not a law. You're enforcing rules, not laws. Cool. But it used to be like, punishment, because I mean, if everybody is like speeding and not holding themselves to, traffic decency, it's fucking chaos on the roads. Then they saw how lucrative it actually is and how much money was, to be gained with it. So now there are traffic cameras everywhere, fucking cop cars with fucking radar guns, like hiding like on shitty places, and you're just like, they're fucking flooring it. You're like, oh yeah, speed, motherfucker. It's just flat. God damn it! It's another $70 or 170 sometimes.
We get points as well. We can collect points over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't forget your points.
Unfortunately, they don't make prizes, do they?
No, not over here. They don't. No, you get a 2-year ban if you get too many of them over here.
But I've said before, like, it would be awesome if it's like the kind of like the YouTube model, that you get a plaque when you've like reached a certain amount of fine.
This is my 12-point plaque.
Yeah, at least you got something to show for it, other than an empty bank account.
You get no driving license, so you've basically got something not to show for it. Because you lose your license, you lose your car, so you're saving money. You don't have petrol.
Fair enough. But like that's also a big thing. Like, they can take away your license. Like, why?
Yeah.
Because they decided that you've done too much wrong. But and that's where I like I do love the idea of you like your community like having their own law enforcement, which is basically just based around common sense, really. Like that's all we should need, really. Like, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. I mean, yeah.
Those are the basic laws, aren't they? The basic laws that everyone has lived by their whole life. Exactly.
Yeah, it's law of nature. And like, if you're gonna do those heinous things, then at least like have it be in self-defense. Eye for an eye, if you will. Don't turn the other cheek. Like, punch the motherfucker back. That's the heathen mindset.
Fine, you're aggressive man. That's disgusting.
No, but it's like that's natural law to me as well. Like, that's what you see in nature, right? When two predators go at it, it's not like, claw, and it's like, oh no,
please don't. Please stop.
I may be a tiger, I may be a ferocious apex predator, but I peace and love. It's like, no, just fucking whoever gets wounded worse, really.
That's your pagan inside you coming out there, Stein.
Yeah,
the pagan inside you coming right out.
It's a very pagan mindset.
That vest is going to come off in a minute, and his shield and axe is going to come out, and he's going to.
I'm going to go fucking berserk in a moment.
We'll have to censor it for YouTube if you carry on like that.
Oh God, yeah, like not have another TikTok debacle.
We've already been banned from TikTok for that. Let's not do that again.
What have I come on to?
I don't know. I don't know what I came onto on that day either, to be honest, but it lasted, 12 minutes? I think it was 12 minutes and then banned.
For 7 days, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but, so, God, we went way off track.
pulling it back in. One thing I've just thought of, Nick, is like in this country, like in the UK, probably the same for you over there, Stan. I know you're about, are you bigger than us or smaller?
Smaller, way smaller.
You're smaller than us, aren't you?
Way smaller, yeah.
We've always had in the UK this issue of the North and South divide. The South is completely different to the North of the country. We have different needs. We have different requirements up here compared to the South. And Nick, obviously, you're in the North, being in Lincolnshire.
East.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I'm on the nice side. You're on the other side. We'll say
the not so nice side.
Yeah, we'll say that. I don't want to say the horrible side because it's lovely over there, but we'll just say that. But the needs are different regionally in this country. You could even go down to the county side. Lincolnshire has different needs than what my county needs. And your model of what you want to do with this, is that what you want to do? Is you look after your own sort of like region, your own area, your own village, and if you have needs that are greater than that village, you go to a more higher up region kind of thing? Are you looking at the duchies, counties, kingdoms kind of situation?
Yeah, we're looking at areas or regions, as you would say. But I mean, this is a sort of an organic process, you know, as we grow. I mean, we're unified as one community assembly of the British Isles, so we're unified under that umbrella. That, as you say, like the needs for Lincolnshire would be different than the needs for Lancashire, and the needs for Wales then have a different set of parameters to look at, perhaps. Cornwall, different again. London, or the London area. I actually don't know what county that falls under, but
I don't know what it is anymore.
Is
now.
it Hertfordshire or something like that?
I'm not too sure.
No idea.
There might be multiple.
Yeah, could well be, couldn't it? But yeah, it's down to like with we have Kernow, we have the putting together of Cornwall, Devon, Somerset and Dorset have come together to form Kernow, the region of Kernow. So this is going back to the Brythonic, where Kernow was comprised of many different areas. So this was an agreement from the assemblies of those counties, and Cornwall being its own country, to come together to re-establish Kernow. And this is what's happened. And now the Cornish have their jurisdiction, but they are gaining, or have gained, a lawful dominion in the area or region of Kernow. And this is ancient law of where you'd have a right developed from 100. You may know about the term 100s or hundreds that was used in, I think, Cornwall was split into hundreds at one point before they supposedly took it to England, and parts of England were known as hundreds. But the 100 people standing in a county or an area, shoulder to shoulder, develops a right, and the 300 develops a jurisdiction and the ability or the allowance for court, and the 600 standing shoulder to shoulder brings the process of dominion. And this is going back to customs and traditions, and these are things that can't be taken away. They would probably, the system would say, no, that's not right. We're not going to look at that. But that's up to them. That's their belief.
Is that anything to do with the Magna Carta? Because you hear a lot of people talking about the Magna Carta and common law and...
Right. I mean, the Magna Carta is 1215. I mean, we're talking sort of 900s or 900s, way before the Magna Carta. Right. So this is, going back in time, really. 1066 was probably a turning point where you had William the Conqueror, and probably the start of, I think there was before, then I think before William, it was with had things like earldoms, but they became counties after William the Conqueror. You had Magna Carta that was put in place by the barons. Now, I don't know what. I know people stand by the Magna Carta because it has some things in there that are quite good, but there is a contention with it. Obviously, with the King John was supposedly held at sword point.
I was going to say, signed under duress, wasn't it?
Signed under duress, but however, he was putting duress on the people. But then, did the people, was it the barons that just said we were going to do this, or did they, go around the country and ask the people? So I don't know, really sort of how this sits, and, without sort of being contentious, and probably giving my thought processes to it, that I don't know if it really does have a standing or not. So, but, going back before Magna Carta, and having, the customs and traditions that define us and define how we live, I don't think we can go wrong. Whereas you have documentation that, we have to question who wrote it. Why was it written? What authority did they have? And, was it really written for something as it says? That there are historical documents that you would say would, excuse me, would form a constitutional element, but no constitution as such, because there is no codified constitution for England or for Britain, but there are certainly elements, documentation that give us or propose certain rights for the people, and we can stand by it. But then, do we really know necessarily what intention, who wrote them, and what real intention they had? That I think we have to be realistic in asking that question. That I don't know, that there is two ways of looking at things, aren't there?
It's the problem with England, and it's the problem, I'd say, with Europe as well. There was so much warfare. They conquered them. They conquered these. They broke away from them. And especially in England, for such a small island, we've had so many different cultures coming into us. We were called this at one time. We were called that at another time. We had Wessex was a kingdom, and then we had Vikings in Jorvik and Pictland up in Scotland, and we had all kinds of things going on. And we took our laws from whoever was there at the time, and it's like we just took the best bits. Take this, and this.
Yeah.
But the government at the moment, like we were saying before, it's just taking what it wants. And it doesn't give anything back. And that's obviously the situation everyone's in over here at the moment. It's just the people aren't getting anything back.
We're being spiritually crushed, I think, along with, having our sort of finances depleted and just, I don't know, it's really treat like cattle, I think. Going back to the documents, using certain documentation and legislations and things and things that you would say are constitutional elements. Well, why not? But still, I think we have to not drown in a sea of paper, and just really, as long as we know who we are. And sort of stand that way, I think, we'd form a better standing than, probably trying to navigate this, the the world of documents. However, for the moment, it's all legislation. There's legislation that the rules, but we have to establish who we are, the law against legislation. And going back to this speeding, an open country road, and you're breaking the limit, who you're actually harming. You can't harm the state.
No.
You're not killing the state or drawing blood on them by sort of going past a speed camera, and it's not it shows you it's not a law if the police and an ambulance can go through it past that speed limit, because a law affects us all equally. That is a maxim. So how can one get away with it when another can't? And I know there has been instances of where people are rushing, their partner or child to hospital, and they've been let off the speeding fine.
Yeah.
So this is discretionary. So the thing, what I'm saying here is that it can't be a law. Because a law, cannot really be broken, can it?
No, that's the thing. Like you said, police, ambulance, fire department, those are emergency services. And as we've seen, let's say 5-6 years ago, in times of emergency, every law is, I don't know, merely a suggestion. In times of emergency, like think of war times, or indeed a global pandemic, then they can create. Well, it's not even new laws, because laws actually have to, have to be signed in to be law. They are temporary rulings, but they are treated as laws. And because it's a emergency situation, like I said, a global pandemic, wartime, it's when you get martial law, of course, military law, it's whatever the military says. And I mean, we know the military, they do whatever the fuck they want, and who's gonna stop them? They got the guns. But those temporary rules, they can be anything as long as it's under the guise of for the greater good. Like it makes me think back of those years, 2019, 2020, here in the Netherlands. We were treated like fucking children. We had a 9 p.m. curfew because, I don't know, that would help at least diminish the spread of whatever was going on. It's like, okay.
I think we had curfews over here at one point as well. I think we did.
Yeah, but like if you were caught outside after 9 p.m., which is way early, by the way, like for comparison, like to here in the Netherlands at the moment, it's like 10 minutes past 8. So like in 50 minutes, it would be like 9 p.m. It's still light outside at 9 p.m. Like back in my clubbing days, I wouldn't go to the club or the bar before 11 p.m.
You'd just be waking up at 9 o'clock, getting ready to go out.
You would.
Just pre-drinking at 9. Yeah. No, but if you were caught outside, you were heavily fined. I remember, like, I lost my job. I was one of many, unfortunately, so I had to take like odd jobs here and there. I was selling fruit at one point. Indoors, sure. So I had to wear a mask. I flat out fucking refused to. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. It's not helping. It's I'm gonna be very careful with what I say, because actually one of my videos has been taken down because of medical misinformation, or what YouTube deems medical misinformation. It's a thing we can get into another time, perhaps. How these big corporations really have their own laws and rules, and you're just gonna abide, because otherwise we're gonna deplatform you. You don't want to be deplatformed. But I got fined, I believe, like 75 euros because I refused to hold myself to what was essentially a temporary emergency.
Oh, see, they've got him. They've got him, Nick. Look,
got him. Yeah, he's frozen.
See,
hit
that's
him with
it.
a stun gun.
They heard what he was talking about, and that was it. They've absolutely got him now. Is he going to come back? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm
He's
here.
come on
Sorry
a different
about that.
account. He's on this side now. Hello.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, there's two of him. Oh.
My internet.
We're
my
being
internet
outnumbered.
freaked out.
I know we are now.
My internet freaked out. I'm spitting too much truth. No, but that's why emergency services, why they can do what they do, why they can ignore speeding limits, why they can ignore traffic laws, because emergency, and then all the laws and rulings that are set into place do not count. And that's gonna be taken advantage of more and more, guaranteed, because they've the establishment has seen that they can get away with it, that they are getting away with it. So like who's gonna stop them from trying again? And that's why I think it's so important what you are doing, and that your community is so incredibly important. You actually manage to separate yourselves. It's just now it's a numbers game.
It's with yours, Nick. Sorry to cut in again.
No, you're right.
The way it always seems is when you look in the movies, when there's been an apocalypse, something's happened, everyone seems to come back to your system. It always goes back to, this is our community. What does our community need?
Yeah.
Our community will find what we need if we have to go out to another community and trade with that community. So it always goes back to the system that you are trying to use in yours. So does that mean that your system is right, and over time that system gets corrupted by people trying to take control of everything, and in the end yours is actually the correct system to be using?
I would say so. Now, we're not the only ones to have, I say, designed this system. There was John Gilbert, that is. He has told me about Hamish Miller. I think he had something very, very similar back in the 80s. And Sue Cartwright's father, Jeff Cartwright, now need to be right in this. He was asked, I think, by a university to write what the perfect society would look like. And what he wrote and put down was basically the community assembly model. His daughter Sue is our website editor. She came on board with the community assemblies, and this synergy, from what her father had done back in the late 1980s, 1990s, had done, and she's sort of in the community assembly herself, and this sort of synergy and this thing that we have is not just established by one person's vision. I mean, there was more people that established the vision of the community assemblies than John. John is just the founder member of it. So the framework that we have for community coming together and to interact with one another, to function with each other, to interconnect, is pretty much the model I think that will prevail in all this, because it allows things to function. So it doesn't, it's not like saying you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that, because that is then always going to be open to ego, and for somebody, to sort of, I don't know, it will cause disharmony, whereas we have, involvement and organic growth because we have a framework and a guidance and facilitators that have a role to facilitate the flow of information and to, help their members grow and get what they want. This then stops any hierarchy and sort of egos that would come about, like you sort of see probably some groups would have a board of governors, but these are people that are making decisions for others. So what do you have in a governmental society? You have people that are making decisions for others and being very kind, not necessarily getting things right. To really
that's
making
human nature, isn't it? We make mistakes, and that's how we learn.
Yeah,
which is
and the assemblies are no different in the way that we've made mistakes. We're human. We're definitely not perfect, but we are learning from our mistakes, and we're trying to create harmony, sort of harmony between people. We're one organization that has many aligned with us. So, we're not just the Community Assembly in the British Isles, because we have other organisations that are their organisations. We're not there to take them over, and they're not there to take us over, but they are like mind. Like people of like mind come together. We're all individual people, but we can, follow ideas and enthusiasms from others, and being in an organization that allows that function, then I think we can create a very harmonistic approach, and to be able to move forward into a better state of living, certainly. And this is a vision that John's had. I mean, it'd be great to have him speak on Across the Pond, because this guy, I've learned so much from John over the last 3 years, and he's amazingly giving in all aspects. Spiritually, just his work ethic. Times when he doesn't sleep, he just works right the way through. But giving himself financially as well to get things going, because he is passionate and adamant about where we need to be, and this is nothing, not for his self gratitude. This is like we're all volunteers, and all we want to see is a better society. It's not for riches, it's not for reward, it's not for accolades, it's not for titles, because the thing is that you do have people out there that are making quite a lot of money out of the freedom movement, but what they probably fail to miss is that while they're in it for the probably giving right information to a point, but not for the right reasons, that their money and riches are going to be worth nothing, absolutely nothing, if the shit hits the fan. And we're all going to be in
services, doesn't it?
We've got to service. Yeah, we've got to serve humanity and get us to where we want to be, because money will just be worth nothing. Riches, titles. If it gets to a point where we think that it may go, all of these sort of wants for bigger houses, flash cars, because you have a certain piece of the puzzle to give, but you're not willing to give it for the right reasons, you are not serving correctly, I feel. So, we need to really pull together as humanity. Whether it's a community assembly model or something that's similar, people got to get back to the point where we work together, where we love each other, where we can function, where we can create, sort of harmony in our living. If we have a chance, certainly, to beat these parasites and starve their energy. But we've got to really understand what we're doing, understand who we are, and just get on with the job, really, because we haven't got oodles of time either. This is a thing. We've not got years to waste in thinking, well, we'll do it tomorrow, or we'll do it the next day, or we'll do it the next year. Get it done now.
That clock's at 1 minute to midnight, isn't it? The doomsday clock. It's 1 minute to midnight at the moment.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the time for, us, let's say, regular people, more evolved people, perhaps, looking at the normies, we can definitely consider ourselves more evolved. It's running. Well, I don't want to say the time is running out, but it's running very, very short. At the very least, we have to do it now, because these are the times to be doing it. We are on the tail end of of the Kali Yuga. We are on the tail end of the revelations of Ragnarok, however you want to call it. Like, I do believe we're at the tail end. That's why everything is blowing up as it is. I feel like that is a last ditch effort, like just throw everything against the wall that we have, and hope that at the very least we can take as many down with us as we can. And I guess that would be a great final question. We're we're past the hour mark. For the people interested, like myself, with my tribe of the Guerrero Pagans, we are trying to do this as well. We are trying to create a tribe, a community that is separate from society, from this system. How would one interested, how would a community interested or a tribe interested go about in doing this? Possibly a way to connect or become part of your community, but like expand it internationally.
Yeah. Yes to all of those. So really, let's say that with your tribe and with your community, and you wanted to integrate with us. So being of like mind, we would have the conversation. That this is what you would like to do. So of course, talk to the people in your community, if it's something that they would like to align with us, that you could create yourself as a community assembly. So it would be of possibly your tribal name or where you're based, and it would just take 3 people. And those 3 would facilitate. So it's just really producing a conduit between the 2. So you would always remain your tribe. What you are named by, but you would also become part of the community assembly and whatever you would you want to be named with as well. So beings that you sit outside of the British Isles, you would come under the Assemblies of the World, which are the countries like Malta, Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand, and the countries that are up and coming, waiting to declare there. So, being that you're in the Netherlands, it could be possible that you could come on as the community assembly of the Netherlands and represent that, but also, still representing your community assembly as your tribe as well. So the countries are important to have the status of a country, as in also as a status of a county, and then the core that sits inside that is the local communities. But to as like a framework, the assembly model and the word assembly is important as well. So that produces a consensus and an authority. When people come together, they start to associate with each other, and then when they come together in assembly, they are coming together for a purpose. And this is why we use a community assembly, a semblance in the community, or a semblance of the community. It gives it a sort of an authority, a consensus of of that area. This is why we would sort of start with a country and then a county, and then the local assemblies. The local assemblies have the greater power in this, because of course it's it's a members base. So for anybody initially wanting to join the community assemblies, it's just really a record on our website. So it would onto the website, you'd read what we do. If it resonates, you would go to the join page. You would read what's there, and importantly, the declaration to natural law, because you would have to abide by that before you would enter, your name, your email address, your phone number. We don't need to know your physical address. It is just a record. You would get a record of the declaration and the oath, which is important as well, because it is recording your standing as a being of flesh and blood, and that you have taken an oath to natural law, and that is important. So there is a physical record of that. We do have trusts as well. So we have trusts that were written up by a good friend of ours in New Zealand, who is Maori Elder, and he's written trust for us and other documentation that also layers a standing with that as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
We'll link all that in the description as well.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. No, awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. Yeah, well, for this whole talk, for this last bit of information. Of course, 3 people, like with myself, I do know 2 other people already who will definitely sign on. I know like a whole bunch of pagans, whole bunch of heathens, of course, who will who would love to sign on, like from here, from the Netherlands. If I'm gonna be the one initiating it, it's gonna be a whole bunch of pagans.
What I can say, what we can actually do is, if you wanted to get everybody together from the Netherlands, we could have a Zoom call with John, and you can ask him from the main man himself, and he does group Zooms all of the time. He's a busy man, but he we can sort this, not a problem.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. I know of 2 people who are gonna join right away, and I think I know a whole bunch of people. I know Like I'm definitely.
Bring
Just
the
make
masses.
shirts mandatory. Shirts are mandatory.
Oh, that's minus.
All right, we'll go with vests rather than shirts. There you
No,
go.
and
We'll
I know.
compromise.
I definitely know a bunch of pagans in the US. One who from the tribe has already started with like legally separating the tribe. He was actually
Brilliant.
pretty recently. He was gonna like finally. I mean, that's more personal, I believe, but finally buy a piece of land that he has always been wanting. The Grove of Odin. It is like that's the legal side of the tribe of the Grand Pagans that we are trying to separate. It's already registered as a at least registered in the U.S. as a religious community. We're trying to. I mean, I have been very much, liking and slacking in that, unfortunately. But I am definitely gonna send this and all the information to him because he is all about that. He's gonna absolutely fucking love it, and it would be awesome if we can do it. Like do it in the three, like let's say 3 parts of the Western world. U.S., UK, mainland Europe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk more about that in private, of course.
Excellent. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is, and I think that with the pagan community, it would be a good fit because it has the nature, the spiritualism. We're not bound by sort of a particular religion or any affiliation in the community assemblies because this is about bringing everybody together and of like mind. And of course I'm no expert on pagan. This is something that I'm learning over the years, but it feels akin to me. I really feel grounded with what I've learned and what I've been taught, and it does feel right. And I will never stop learning. I'm understanding the days of the week. Moon day, Sunday, Moon day, Tears day, Odin's day, Thor's day, and Freya's day.
Yeah.
This is, and it feels right. And the sort of other teachings from around the world, I can see like a synergy, going on with that as well. And I think your friends are going to like it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. Tribal living. That's how the pagans. It's how our ancestors have always lived. It's there's so many different pagan communities, so it's very ingrained into into paganism as a whole, really. So yeah, I can see how you find common ground in that. Yeah, and with all this said, Andy, like, do you have any last words, any last comments, last remarks?
What I would say is what I said earlier on. Humans as a society, going way, way back, were always tribal. Paganism, like you're saying there, Stan, a lot of Christianity, a lot of their beliefs came from paganism to try and integrate the pagans into Christianity.
Yeah.
It's how everyone was merged together. It's why a lot of the religions come from a lot of other religions, if you know what I mean. It's like a conglomerate of things to bring people into the fold. Tribalism is the way humanity was designed to work. We're a communal species. We work within our community, if this community needs anything, we go out and find it from another community. Services, goods were traded. It's how we get back to that in a way that works in this society that is the difficult part, because it is all being stopped from above. And doing it in small steps like this, like Nick is doing and like the group is doing, it's the right way to go. Bring everyone together as one. Stop separating everybody. Everybody's separated at the moment. You're this person, this person, this person, that. I don't care if you worship a Kit Kat or a can of Coke. I don't care what you worship. If you want to come and help the community, come and do it. And that's how it should be. That's how humanity should actually be. There's my speech for the week.
Brilliant. Harmony, isn't it? Harmony.
Yeah, that's it.
Kit Kat or a can of Coke. Sure. I like that. That's new. But hey, to each their own.
When you're hungry, you'll worship a Kit Kat, believe me.
I mean, like, we got the flying spaghetti monster, so like, why the fuck not? No, and yeah, with all of this said, all of this done, this has been a hell of a amazing show. We will of course make sure that all the important links are in the description box down below. So if you wish to join, or at least get some more information, you can find them all there. For more Across the Pond, make sure to like, share, subscribe, especially subscribe, and do hit that notification bell. It's also quite important. I know that YouTube, especially YouTube, has a tendency to not push videos out. I've had that recently. It's like, oh, there's a new video. When? A week ago. Why wasn't I notified? So, do ring that notification bell. And if you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, do give us that 5-star rating. It is very simple. It's very easy to do. It's one tap, it's one click, but it means more than you can imagine. It pushes the podcast, pushes us out further into the algorithm, so that more people may be informed, may get informed, and hopefully we are bringing the change that is needed. So thank you all very much once again for watching. Thank you all very much once again for listening. We will catch you all next time on Across the Pond podcast. Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
You know for a fact there are aliens.
Yes, 100%.
Our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel.
This is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Across the pond.
This is a Fox News alert. The Epstein files have been released.
Across the pond.
You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening
Very serious.
now.